Howdy, everybody. Today is Tuesday, May 26, 2026, and the time is 5:31 p.m. We're here for the regular session of the Coppell City Council. We do have a quorum present, so I'm calling the meeting to order. We will be convening into executive session in the first floor conference room. At the end of the executive session, I will come out and announce work session, at which time the public is invited and encouraged to join us. Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everybody. The time is 6:02 p.m. We have recessed from executive session and will enter into work session in the first floor conference room. The public is invited and encouraged to join us. Thank you. It's 6:07 p.m. We're going to move into work session. We've got 4 items. The first one is discussion regarding the agenda itself. We are going to move item F on consent to the regular session, so we're going to pull that one. There was a change in the price of the demolition for that item as well, and whoever makes a motion on that will need to know that number. It happens to be $58,128.
Well, that's cheaper.
Yes, it is.
Do I need to write that down, or was somebody else going to read that?
That's a veritable bargain.
You got it? Yeah, I got it.
Any other comments on agenda? Seeing none, we will move on. This is item B is a discussion regarding council committee appointments. Ms. Snowden. So I need to preface this before she gets up here. You guys sit down, and I apologize, I was not clear with Lauren. I needed everyone to give me a 1 through 4 on your ratings, and she just asked for 4 selections. So it actually worked out okay this time. There were a couple of you that asked for visits or ability to see other groups. Anyone is welcome to go to any of these meetings. And for example, Metro Crest, they would welcome to have the entire council there every time. And even our representative doesn't actually vote, so it's a courtesy position, but you are more than welcome. I believe, Bijou, you said something about going to the senior center. If I had put you on that one, it would have thrown the whole thing up, but you are more than welcome to attend the senior citizens luncheons on Wednesdays.
I go over now and then.
So, please don't think that just because you're not appointed to the committee that you can't attend.
To be clear, there's one tomorrow, so come on over.
And I think Don had a similar request for one. I don't remember what it was at this point, but
I did what?
you had a request to participate in one of the committees. Maybe it was COG. I think that's what it was.
Oh, well, yeah, I mean.
You're welcome to attend any of those meetings if you want to.
And I will do that from time to time, or sit in, or whatever.
Okay, so anyway, I set a couple of rules. Everyone had to have at least 1 committee. No one could have more than 2. And there were some specific requests that were made, and each one of those was honored. So basically, you got what you asked for, except the COG. I couldn't do that one. But everybody else, I think, got what you asked for. So, Lauren?
Yes, so Mayor Pro Tem Walker, Dallas College, and Coppell Art Center Foundation.
All right.
Councilmember Hinojosa Smith, North Central Texas Council of Governments. Councilmember Carroll, Dallas Regional Mobility Coalition. Councilmember Nevels, Coppell Seniors and Coppell ISD Liaison. Councilmember Prem Kumar, North Texas Commission. Councilmember Matthew, Metro Crest Services and Historical Society. And Councilmember Hill is Woven Health Clinic and the Carrollton Farmers Branch ISD and Louisville ISD.
So that I think everybody got at least one of what you asked for, and everybody got covered with 1 or 2, and we covered all the committee assignments. So unless anybody has a discussion, Kevin.
I'll just say real fast, as far as the seniors go, Ramesh comes every time, right? So if you want to get on like the distribution list for like the talking points or anything like that, I'm happy to coordinate that so you get all that information, so it's kind of on your regular schedule, but just to your point, that anybody's welcome to go, and I know I, from time to time, invite everyone, but just let me know if you wanna tighten up coordination, so it'll be on your radar a little bit tighter.
I keep intending to go, but Wednesdays is my day to go into work, and it just doesn't work out schedule-wise. Historical Society, I go when I can, but they have them on Saturdays. It just is hard for me to make, so.
I told the seniors
Yeah, I
that,
know.
I told the seniors you had more important things to do than
Thank
see.
you. I appreciate that. That really does well with them. Thank you.
He's got you covered.
With friends like this, we
Yeah,
need
look at
interviews for.
Looking out for you, sir.
Okay, thank you, Lauren, appreciate it. Item C is a presentation and discussion regarding the service organization's request. Ms. Jessica.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Has this changed since from?
We added some color coding,
Excellent. Thank you.
fun.
Just for Kevin?
Yes.
All the pretty colors. I mean,
And I'll wait till it's gonna pass. Updated files. Well, good evening, Mayor and Council, and thank you so much for the opportunity to speak to you this evening. Tonight, I am presenting the list of applicants for the city's annual special funding process for service and art organizations. As you know, these grants support organizations that provide critical services, promote arts and culture, and offer programs that benefit Coppell residents. The purpose of this agenda item is threefold. First, we would like to provide you an overview of the organizations that submitted fiscal year 27 funding applications. Secondly, we would like to identify which organizations meet the criteria to make a presentation to you at the July workshop. And this is all based on your council guidelines established on August 30th, 2016, that were updated on April 23, 2024. And third, to receive your direction on whether to add or remove any organizations from the recommended presenters list. This year's application period was open from April 1st through April 28th. We received a total of 23 applications. 15 organizations are eligible for funding under the general fund, mayor and council budget, and 8 organizations qualify under the hotel occupancy tax or HOT fund. In front of you are 2 spreadsheets. The first spreadsheet are those organizations eligible under HOT funding, and the second spreadsheet will be the ones eligible for the general fund funding. The spreadsheets include the organization name, requested funding amount, percentage change from the prior year request, and notes identifying when the organization last presented, prior year funding comparisons, and other relevant information. Based on your approved criteria, 5 organizations are recommended to make a presentation at the July workshop. Under the April 2024 guidelines, presentations are required for new applicants and also organizations requesting more than $20,000 with an increase of greater than 50% from the prior year allocation. The 5 organizations recommended to present include 4 new applicants. We do have the Coppell Community Garden Corporation, the Coppell Farmers Market Association, Coppell Humane Society, and the Coppell ISD Education Foundation. As well as 1 organization, the Coppell Community Corral, which is requesting more than $20,000 with an increase exceeding 50% from the prior year allocation. The remaining organizations are eligible for funding consideration, but they are not required to make a presentation under the same criteria. At this time, staff is seeking council direction on whether to proceed with the recommended list of presenters or make any adjustments. And then I am happy to answer any questions or provide any additional clarification.
Brianna?
Quick question. So, thank you very much for this, and this is helpful and easy to see. So, Coppell ISD Education Foundation, even the farmers market, have they never made a request, or is it only within a certain amount of years? Because I feel like have they not been here before?
They have never made a request through the service or application process. They have, although received funding, two of the organizations listed, the Coppell Farmers Market and the garden, the community garden has received funding through.
But it wasn't requested.
But not requested to the
Okay,
service work.
gotcha,
process.
okay, thank you. That's helpful.
Jim?
Thank you for this. I agree, it's very helpful. So, do we know if the community garden and the Farmers Market Association are requesting this in any way related to their split up into two separate organizations?
And part of what the information that was presented to us was they were one entity and they were split into two entities. And part of that, I believe as part of, due to that, but they will be here if you decide to provide more information at the July workshop.
So we're just deciding if the color-coded ones are the ones we want to hear from, or if there's any others.
Correct, yeah.
Okay, thank you very much.
Don?
I am in favor of the ones you have marked here, hearing from them, because probably to your point a little bit, these four on the non-hot page, that's $225,000 increase, so it's a material increase and everything. So I certainly think we should hear from these new ones that have not presented before. So I'm in favor of the list that they have presented. That's the sum of it.
You actually answered the question she was asking. I'll try to do that next time.
Ramesh?
Thank you, Mayor. I agree with what ex-Mayor Pro Tem Carol said.
I'm still a councilman.
Wow.
Mayor Pro Tem. I also would like to hear from the Historical Museum. That's $135,000, and at least for my benefit, I want to refresh what they're doing with that, and I'd like to hear from them on any grants that they have tried to apply for, so.
Yes. We can incorporate them into the list.
Yeah, Mike, do we have any update from the Historical Society? I don't know.
Last one I gave you was what, 2 months ago, 2 or 3 months ago?
Okay.
That's it. Other than their application.
Okay.
Kevin?
I'm in favor of the 5 that are highlighted, and I'm actually good with Ramesh too on, I know we've had several conversations with the museum about their desire to be independent by being grant funded and stuff, so that update makes sense to me, even though that is only a 4% increase in their ask. It's still a big ask over several years, so.
I just want to be clear here. We're being asked to fund $676,000, $876,000, I'm sorry.
Correct, about combining both the hot and general fund.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted to make sure that this number wasn't somewhere hidden in here, and I didn't think it was. Brianna?
So I'm good with, I'll second whatever Kevin Neville said.
I seconded his.
Okay, well, I'll third it. I'm in favor of that too, but remind me of the process, because we go through this every year and I forget. The others that have increases, they don't meet the threshold, so they're not gonna come before us, but we'll still see the application and we still have an opportunity to discuss it. It's not an automatic.
Yes, ma'am. We will
that correct?
have the application and the supporting material available for you to review, and we'll drop it into the council SharePoint, so you
Okay.
can look at it.
And then we can decide if we'll go through each one and say yay.
We won't go through each application.
No, but we have an opportunity before we say,
Yes.
yes, we approve them all, we can say, oh, we're not okay with the, $10,000 increase for
Yes.
X.
And I will add some advance warning. It'd be nice so that we could have the
Conversation, okay.
conversation ready to go. But yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure somewhere in there I hadn't missed that this was like an automatic, they get a yes, thumbs up, because then we are in a situation where people are like, if I'm under the threshold, I can just keep increasing each year, right? So I want to be mindful of that too. Okay, thank you.
Bijou?
Yeah, Mike, a follow-up. I was looking at your email from 2 months ago. That was the financial information.
That was the information that the council had asked for, right?
Right, so the last budget cycle, we were discussing about if the city doesn't funded, the museum, they don't have any other resources or income coming in to operate it. And there was a comment made, city may have to take over. And
Yeah, we haven't had those discussions.
since last year,
That's correct. I haven't had any further conversations with Chris.
This is more on the logistics of this evening that we are going to be privileged to hear all these discussions. Are they, what do we tell them? Were they limited to 10-minute presentation or what? I guess I'm trying to remember. If we have 6 of them now to talk about, are they 10 minutes each or what? Do you recall what the parameters are?
Yes, and the presentations would be made to you at the July workshop.
Okay.
So that would be July 13th tentatively, and the criteria typically we give them in the past has been about 5 minutes, however, that's up
Okay.
to council. If you would like to extend that time, we can do that, but typically in the past, we've given them about 5 minutes,
Okay.
and then 5 minutes for questions. So
Okay.
about 10 in total.
You want 20 minutes?
No, I would just wanted to make sure it was very succinct.
Yeah, we've tried to limit it.
Succinct and relevant.
We've tried to limit it to 10 minutes per application depending on questions from this esteemed group.
Yes, and that's still an hour at minimum.
Any other questions?
Well, we have a lot of new ones in here, which
Yes,
is a
we
little
have.
bit unusual that
This
we have
is
so
the
many new
most new
ones.
ones I've ever seen,
Right,
so
right,
yes,
and there's some big ones too, so
very big.
I'm good.
Everybody okay with this? We'll ask for the 6 that are listed plus the historical museum. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, item D is a presentation and discussion regarding the proposed Old Town Special District. Hallie?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Tonight's item is intended to provide an informational overview of a potential Old Town Special District framework and introduce 3 future decision areas: board composition, naming convention, and geographic boundaries. These decision areas will inform future legislative drafting and stakeholder discussions. No action or direction is requested this evening. Staff will return during the next City Council meeting work session for additional discussion and council direction as we continue evaluating options with the city attorney and legislative consultants. The first foundational consideration is creating a special district is the board composition, which includes governance style, board size, and term length. The governance structure specifically is who would oversee the district framework. As part of staff review of similarly structured special districts, there are generally 3 governance approaches that emerge. The first is a council-led board, where governance is composed of the city council itself. The second is a council-appointed board, where council appoints community, business, or stakeholder representatives. The third is a hybrid model, which combines elected officials with appointed stakeholders, often to balance municipal oversight with community or business representatives. Additionally, some existing special district legislation includes staff serving in ex officio roles to support administration and coordination. Tonight, this is intended only as an overview of common governance approaches. The next consideration for board composition is board size. Through a review of Texas Special District, governance boards vary in size depending on purpose and complexity. Small boards with 3 directors can simplify governance for a narrowly focused district. 5-member boards are a common structure and tend to balance manageability with stakeholder representation. 7-member boards allow for broader stakeholder participation and additional representation. Again, the intent is simply to introduce the common governance structures used in special districts. The final consideration related to board composition is board term structure. Shorter terms, such as 2 years, are more common in some appointed authorities and allow for more frequent turnover. Longer staggered terms, often 4 years, appear more frequently in special district governance structures and are intended to support continuity and long-term district stewardship. Staff also included a 3-year staggered term option. While that is not common structure in special district legislation, it could be considered if council wished to align appointed board terms with existing council terms. Board term structure becomes an important consideration because it balances continuity, institutional knowledge, accountability, and board refresh over time. Because this district framework would be established through special legislation, council has significant discretion within the legislative drafting process. The governance structure is established in the enabling legislation and is not fixed to any single statutory template. The second foundational consideration is the naming convention of the special district. In reviewing existing special districts whose legislation references entertainment, tourism, recreation, and/or the arts as part of the district purpose, district names commonly reflect both a place and a function. Improvement districts generally emphasize physical improvements, maintenance, or enhancement of a place. Management districts are more commonly associated with governance, coordination, district stewardship, and economic activation. Entertainment-related language may be incorporated when destination activity or visitor-serving uses are part of the legislative process. The intent tonight is to familiarize council with naming approaches that already exist in the Texas Special District legislation. And the final consideration is district geography and boundaries. Unlike the previous governance and naming discussion items, this graphic reflects prior council discussion and direction regarding the general Old Town geography and future growth considerations. The areas shown in blue reflect prior council discussion regarding the general Old Town boundary framework. The areas shown in red illustrate a potential geographic addition for future discussion as part of evaluating how a special district could accommodate future opportunities and growth considerations identified by council. As staff began evaluating a potential district framework, these geographic considerations become important because district legislation establishes the boundaries of the statutory framework and influences the type of uses contemplated within it. This map is intended to serve as the basis for a future council discussion regarding district boundaries. Additional considerations may also be discussed, including whether residentially developed properties should be included or carved out of the district geography. The intent tonight is to provide context regarding how prior council direction may inform a future special district boundary framework. To recap, tonight I introduced 3 future decision areas associated with the potential special district framework. First, board composition, including governance style, board size, and term structure. Second, the naming convention, including how Texas special districts commonly reflect both place and function in district titles. Third, geographic boundaries, which builds upon prior council discussion regarding Old Town geography and future growth considerations. Tonight was intended to provide an informational overview of these considerations in advance of a future council discussion. Finally, I want to provide a high-level overview of the next steps. This is the same information that was provided during the previous retreat. However, I've added today's date and then the next work session. Phase 1 focuses on district framework development, including governance structure, naming convention, and district boundaries. Tonight's work session is intended to introduce these considerations, with the next work session focused on discussion and direction. Following council discussion, staff would continue refining legislative language with the city attorney and legislative consultants in preparation for the legislative process. Phase 2 would include the legislative process itself, including drafting, filing, committee review, and legislative engagement. If ultimately pursued and approved, Phase 3 would focus on implementation, including governance structure and district oversight. This concludes tonight's informational overview. I'm happy to answer any questions regarding the governance consideration, naming conventions, or geographic concepts introduced.
Jim?
Thank you. So with respect to the governance structure, you're saying we would put that in the enabling legislation. So if we opted, like if we wanted to have council be the board for the first year just to get a sense of what was going on and then switch to an appointed board as an example, would we be able to do that once the legislation is written and approved?
Yes, so the actual legislation that we are proposing would be able to have those considerations. Of the ones that I have reviewed, I have not seen that option, but it is something that, should council decide you want to include, that you are able to. That's part of what falls under the council discretion.
Okay, thank you.
Ramesh?
Thank you, Mayor. Great presentation, Kelly. And Mayor, I'm assuming that in the next work session, we would actually go into the details. So I appreciate if you can share a copy of this, so we'll come prepared for the next session. Thank you.
I've got a question on the boundaries. Did I hear you imply, maybe subjectively, that it's better to go bigger than smaller, since it has to be approved by the legislature?
So back to this one. So this reflects some of the discussion that was had at either January or February's retreat in terms of what to include. It's really, again, up to council discretion, just understanding that should the district boundaries want to be amended later on, it would need to go back through the legislative process for an amendment.
Okay, thank you. That's what I thought I heard you say. And it doesn't mean just because you designate it that way that it will be used that way.
Correct.
Thank you. Any other questions? So go back to the calendar, Callie. So we'll hear this in 2 weeks, or the discussion of it and direction. How are you seeing phase 2 kick off or begin, or what do you see happening in phase 2?
So once I receive the discussion and direction, I'll work with our city attorney to begin drafting the legislation, which is where we put all this consideration into the actual written terms, as well as the other items that are legally required in there, such as the dissolution of the district and other things of that nature. And then once the draft legislation is ready, then it would come back to council in a meeting for final approval before any movement, and then after that is when we would send it to our legislators.
So who would be the champion of this in the legislature? Would it be through the House or through the Senate?
That is a strategy that we just have not discussed yet with our legislative consultants, considering that the representative election is still up. Yeah, that won't happen until November.
We've got like 5 more elections to go this year.
Yeah.
I keep forgetting about those little election things.
And so that will also come just post-election with the makeup
So
of the
that will
Texas
impact,
legislature.
that will impact the outcome, or could.
It could. So the representatives are up for re-election in November, our senator is not. But just depending on statewide how the elections turn out, there will be a legislative strategy based upon that.
Okay, thank you. Bijou?
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you for the presentation. Do you have any data in last 5 years, how many cities requested this type of request to the legislators?
I can research that. It will probably take just a little bit of time. The databases where all this information is held do not sync with one another, so there's a special database, or special district database in the comptroller's office, and then the associated bill numbers are housed in a completely different database, so just matching those up will take a little bit of
So
time.
what I'm looking for is success rate. How many cities requested? How many been approved? Are we really spending our time and the money? Are we going to get something in return?
So finding the success rate is really difficult. So the databases, again, they don't match up with one another. So the district name might not have been the bill name. So it's a matter of going back and finding all the special districts that passed in a certain year, researching back and finding an associated bill name with however many legislative sessions it was, and then going from there. So it's not impossible, it will just take some time to.
I might get help with that. Generally, it's pretty local in nature, the legislature won't have many objections to it. Ordinarily, we'll use the state rep, who will run it through for us. If it's purely local in nature, the legislative dislike for cities in general generally doesn't spill over into local bills. So the success rate is usually pretty good. No guarantees, mind you, but it's usually pretty good. You don't necessarily need to use lobbyists or something like this.
I would also say that we're not gonna know the ones that didn't pass, because there is no bill and it's not registered at the comptroller's office. So there's no way for us to know when something didn't get approved. So the negative of that is there's no way to show that information.
Can you go back to the three things that we're gonna be asking the council? Okay. On the board composition, governance structure, what do you need so you can make your decision? I'm gonna ask that for each one of those. Because today's the day to let us know what information you need. So on governance, Jim has asked a question about, hey, does this give us the flexibility to do that? That gives us insight to say, okay, this is what we will be looking at, right? When we write the
I
legislation.
just kind of wondered about our options. Can
Right,
we
yeah,
start out one way and
right,
transform to another?
right.
For me, I believe it was, that was like with the hybrid at the bottom, and there was appointed, and then it's council, basically. I like the idea of eventually getting to a point where we have representation from stakeholders in the district on that. So, maybe kind of understanding what, any specific structures, like, is that made up of, you know, a certain amount of business owners that are down there? But I mean, like, understanding what other communities have done, that might be helpful to kind of understand what is that that hybrid, yeah, what does that look like? I do like the idea of kind of where Jim was going, like, maybe the council is the first iteration, so we can make sure that it's set up, and then we can take our hand off the proverbial wheel a little bit and make sure that, because I think that having that input from those stakeholders down there is important. Just want to make sure that we have some alignment on vision. I think that's an important piece on that, so.
Keep in mind, we actually have all three different compositions that we currently operate under. So
Exactly.
we have all three. I had Don first, and then Bijou, and then Ramesh.
I'd be curious about exactly what the board would be responsible for, what would all the duties be, what, you know, overseeing this district or whatever, what does that actually entail on an ongoing basis? So, because I'm not real clear what that would be. Is there a budget, or is it just, well, I don't know, management, generic management of the district, or what? So,
Bijou?
Yeah, so this is the first time we are hearing about this district, right?
No,
I'm talking about governance and the board,
no, we've talked
And
about
this-
it before.
the size of the board.
We've just talked about governance in general.
Right, so
Right.
it will be beneficial to have a copy of another district, how many board members they have, and what are the responsibilities they inherited, or they, you know, wrote it down,
Okay.
and budgets and so on and so forth. It will be easy to understand, okay, this is what another district did, so that we can at least have intelligent questions to ask, you know, what's the benefit of having 7 versus 5 overall?
Ramesh?
Thank you, Mayor. I'm actually following along the line of questions. I thought today we have CRDC. Is that a special district? And I'm trying to see if we can just,
It's not a special district,
Okay.
it's a taxing entity.
Okay.
This is different, remember, we are not putting a property tax or doing any kind of taxation associated with this.
Okay.
This is district with certain boundaries,
got it,
so
okay.
it's different.
But is
As
that?
far as your governance is concerned, okay, let's raise the level.
Mhm.
So the governance structure of the CRDC is what the mayor was talking about, that's one level. CCPD, that's another level.
Mhm.
City council, that's a third level. So you have different governance
Okay.
models.
Okay,
That's what this is in reference to. How is this going to be governed?
okay.
Right? And to the point of understanding, we'll get you the links to that information because you apparently want to see some different ones. The reason I say links is because they're usually fairly long. And just remember, that comes after you have an idea of how you want to govern as far as the board is concerned. The details, that comes in a little bit later. Yes, you give us direction, but just understand there's kind of a step down as you start to dig into it. So, okay, we heard what you're looking there. The naming convention, you heard the three options on that. It's going to be really just about a preference of you around this table. I'm not so sure, other than just coming up with consensus and saying, okay, it's a management district or it's a, you know, entertainment district. But that's, is there anything more that you're looking for on the naming convention?
I mean, my take is the initial introduction that you gave to this whole topic, that kind of tells us how we are going, that's the goal of this whole special district, and that goal will drive the governance. So, to me, there might be a little more discussion on geographic boundaries, so I'd like to see an option where we cover more area.
That was my next question.
To the west. So,
Because y'all did talk about that, if I go ahead and go forward, if you pull up the map, based on y'all's previous discussion, one of the things I was gonna ask is, do you wanna see a map that actually has a little bit larger, encompasses a little bit larger area? Because we recall y'all were discussing across Freeport and across Bethel, at one point in time. Granted, this is what you settled on a while back. Knowing that this district can be something larger, to your point, doesn't mean it hasn't necessarily you do something with it, but it does kind of set it up. So I'm thinking that we want to bring you a map that isn't highlighting anything different than what you had there, but it's at least getting you, so you can see it a little cleaner than what you see right now call it to the west, right? Just because I think that's what y'all talked about. I'm not so sure about to the south, because the railroad tracks are the natural boundary, to it. So, is there anything else related to the geographic area that we can be providing you that's more helpful? Okay.
No, actually, Joan was first.
He got me, he got me.
I didn't know if he even saw it, that's the reason why I said it.
Well, when he's pushing his hand up, I can see it.
So what's the purpose of a governing board for the district? If there's no taxing authority, what are we envisioning, what authority would they have?
So that is also up to the discretion of the council. The special district legislation already exists, they act an advisory committee, essentially. So if you go back to, you see to the, under management districts and governance coordination, activation, and programming. That's typically where that authority lies.
I'll give you an example. Say with the formation of the special district, we know we've been talking about this alcohol issue, right? So that gets into getting it created so that alcohol can be served and everything along those lines. Council has talked about activation of this particular area, and so we've been setting aside funds each year for some activation. Well, now that you have someone who's actually responsible for the programming and everything along those lines, you could funnel those funds over to the special district. It's a way, just kind of like you do with hotel motel tax or general fund. And that way they have funding in place without the taxation, direct taxation on property tax, right? Another thing is on sales tax, any sales tax that's generated in there, again, this goes to the way you set it up. You could actually set it up so that whatever sales tax is generated in there is, then a portion of it could be funding the programming, activation, and, right? Because that's kind of similar to what, some of you may be familiar with tax increment financing. The TIF district, we talked about that when we took the tour of North Richland Hills. Again, the special district, whatever you put into the special district, the more flexibility you give it, the more opportunity. Again, you can be explicit, we are not gonna charge a property tax, but you can also set up parameters where it becomes a self-funded district, possibly. Right.
Like for marketing?
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna make this up, let's just say that we're funding $100,000 to $150,000 a year for things down in the town, whether there's the celebrations or the music and all that kind of stuff. Well, we could calculate and estimate what the sales tax is that's generated down there, and we could say a portion of the sales tax, which equals that $150,000 or whatever, stays in the district, right? It's still the same sales tax, but it's, right, and it's still going to the same purpose, but it's identified for that particular district. Does that make sense?
Sure, yeah.
Those are the things that you can write in the legislation.
Okay.
And that's where the governance comes in.
Right, right, yeah, it would under those circumstances, for sure.
Right.
Okay, thanks, Mike.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Let's see here, with, according to the boundaries we're talking about, I remember specifically, we talked about, that northwest corner, is, bringing that over to, could you move the map up over, please, Cal?
So we're all talking about.
Yeah, the identified as number 4, bringing that all the way over to Freeport. I remember we had that discussion. So definitely would want to see that expand more. And then I agree with your talking about the railroad tracks and kind of that southwest corner, making sure that's all included in that as well. I don't know if I remember jumping across Freeport or not. Did we talk about that?
It was just discussed.
Yeah. I mean, I would definitely lean more towards, let's make it bigger than we think we need it. So I would be happy to see that map expand, just to make sure that we've got plenty of coverage for potential future use. In terms of the board makeup, would that, I'm assuming that would line up with Mindy's department and stuff, considering that there's already programming and stuff that kind of comes through her.
It's community development and community experiences both.
So, okay, so there would be, there'd be coordination there. I don't want to get too far in the weeds, I was thinking about it a little bit, but that makes sense, to just kind of understanding what departments are going to be involved in that.
So keep thinking about it for the next 2 weeks.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right, you got Bijou and then Joan.
Yeah, thank you. So the ask for the legislator is approving a special district. And the second ask is alcohol usage within the district.
That's the part that I'm gonna have to defer to Callie, because the way the special district language is being suggested, it sounds like when we create it, we have to say
Yeah,
that
so
the
we would
alcohol
include that
can be
language.
part of it.
Correct, so we would include that language in the special district, and then that would create a statute which then overrides the TABC rule.
Are there any other things we are requesting, addition to alcohol usage?
That would be up to council's discretion. So if there's other things that, and some of them are ordinances, so we can regulate that on our own level. But if there are other things, then we can include that.
There's some things that come automatically with the district.
What are those?
The ability to, well, the taxing is part of that. That would be part of it. That would be up to the discretion of the council once you have the district done. The ability to, I had a question related to that. Part of the function of the board, would they have the ability to set hours of operation? That could be one thing that would come in.
You mean 24/7?
No, well, no, maybe
Like
past
9
9 PM or something like that, maybe till 10 or 10:30 or 11. Or a bar that wanted to stay open till 2, that kind of stuff.
Right.
The ability to shut down a roadway for a major event, that could be within the district, not the city. So it gives you a lot of flexibility when it comes to managing that area.
Yeah, the reason I asked, there are restaurants in Irving open until 5 a.m.
Well, this board would have the ability to say no to that. I don't think 5 AM would be too popular.
Can I suggest, the creativity of the council is on the table, right? That's what you're gonna talk about in 2 weeks. It's like, if you were to dream of whatever this could be, knowing what our citizens have told us through all the surveys, through all the community meetings, through all that kind of stuff, we wanna make sure that, we're covering that in the creation of that district, and this is the opportunity to do that. Let me also just say, one of the things that we are hearing is that there are some legislatures, not our two in particular, but there are some legislators who are trying to limit the creation of special districts or make them go away. Now, their specific issue is the MUDs, the municipal utility districts, because the proliferation of those over the last probably 10 years, because they don't, guess what? We gave the developer the right to create the MUD. We didn't set up any statutory language that limits the MUD on the taxation. So when the property owner moves into XYZ community, they're
paying a city tax, a mud tax, county tax, right? So that's why they're talking about special districts. And again, I'm gonna go back to, that's why it's so important that we're not using property tax in the municipal, in our special district. I say all that because to Biju's question about success, it is sometimes difficult. And the first time that you go introduce legislation to get things done, it just is. It's just, it gets, to David's point though, yes, it's a local bill, but let's just say there's a chairman who's upset with your county, with your elected representative. Guess what doesn't move? Your bill.
So hiring a consultant or lobbyist will help us? That's what he mentioned, right?
So we already have that on board.
Right.
Yeah. They're already engaged with us, not just for this, but they've helped.
Right, I know.
I'll give you an example. Look how, this is the third session we've gone through on the street sales and use tax. And we got it through to calendars, and it didn't get out because it ran out of time. But that's the first time in 3 sessions that it finally got to calendars. Yeah. So it's personalities. You know that. Yeah. But we have, we believe with Senator Parker and
Senator Hernandez Garcia.
Representative Garcia, they both have expressed support for what we're trying to do. That's very helpful.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Jim, I think I had you down next.
Yeah, just a real quick point. So whatever geographical footprint we decide will combine with whatever, like dedicated tax or sales tax, whatever we decide, regardless of what's in the footprint. So if we're looking at peeling off some small part or putting back in some small part of sales tax generated within the geographical footprint, that would include the warehouses,
It could.
right?
Yeah.
As long as they're within the district
That's right.
boundary, it's ultimately decided that we can't say, well, this is like 5 years out and,
No.
okay.
It's
what I thought.
gonna stay within it, and that's part of the beauty of working with it, and it's a little different than the tax increment financing district.
Yeah.
Because it gives you the flexibility of, you set up the parameters, the governance structure says, okay, we're gonna do this portion of it, and let's say 2 years down the road, it's like, you know what, we're gonna change that portion. Your governance group can change that portion, it doesn't have to go back to the legislature to do it, right? It's just, you're writing the language loose enough to give you the flexibility so that you can do things a little differently than we could do sitting around this table.
Yeah, okay.
So Jim, are you talking about dividing our sales tax again? I mean, we already are dividing into 4 portions.
No, that would be a
CRTC.
dedicated sales tax. I was just curious that if we're saying, okay, of all the sales tax generated within the district, we're going to put some amount in so it's self-financing, then I just wanted to make sure that I understood that then any business within the designated footprint would be included in any sales tax they're generating out of those warehouses, for example, would be included in calculating that amount that we're going to use to finance the district. So even though they're not, a honky-tonk or a restaurant or something that one would associate with an entertainment district, they're tilt-wall light industrial warehouses, any sales tax they generate would still be included within that calculus. That's what I just wanted to confirm that.
Any other questions? We need to thank Callie for all the work she's done on this.
Yeah.
I think it's very convoluted.
Yes, there are 2,300 districts that I have looked,
How many?
2,300 total, and about 400 that are similar to ours, so.
Wow, well, that's good, that's a great sampling.
It's lots, I get cross-eyed sometimes.
Thank you very much. That is the end of regular session. The time is 6:55.
Work session.
Work session, I'm
I was
sorry.
gonna say, that's the fastest meeting we've ever had.
That was not an unintended, inadvertent commission there. The time is 6:55.
And we can keep this.
Yes, you may. We're recessed from, or we're adjourned from work session. We'll move into the regular city council at 7:30. Good afternoon, everybody. The time is 7:31 p.m. We're going to move into the regular session of the Coppell City Council. Just as a reminder, any persons wishing to speak during our citizens' appearance must sign the appropriate register located outside the council chambers and list your address. We were scheduled to have Dr. Reverend Danielle Kim of the First United Methodist Church to say our invocation, which is a shame she was not able to be here, as this is her last month to be assigned to Coppell. She will be reassigned to Carrollton, Texas from now on. So as a very quick fallback, we'd like to thank former Mayor Pro Tem Don Carroll to give our invocation tonight. Would you please rise and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance?
Let's pray. Father, we come to you this evening thanking you for another week, another day that you have blessed us on this earth. We thank you for this community that you have built. We know it is not by chance and by coincidence that all of us are in this place at this time to build community here. We ask that you will be with the residents of this community, and we ask that you will be with those of us making decisions, that we will have much wisdom and much discernment in the decisions we make. We ask that this will be a peaceful place and that discussions will be civil. We thank you for always loving us and always taking care of us. We love you. We ask this all through Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Please be seated. Item number 6 are our proclamations, and the first one is a proclamation proclaiming the month of May as Municipal Clerks Appreciation Week. And I would like to invite our very own Miss Thoden to come down forward with me. I'll give you 2 minutes to remember that you're going to get to say something at the end of this, all right? All right. Whereas the profession of municipal clerks is essential to the effective functioning of local government in Texas, ensuring transparency, accountability, and the smooth operation of municipal services, and whereas the office of the municipal clerk is the oldest among public servants, and whereas the Texas municipal clerks have pledged to be ever mindful of their neutrality and impartiality while serving the professional link between the citizens, the local governing bodies, and agencies of government at other levels. And whereas Texas municipal clerks serve as the official record keepers, managing vital documents, conducting municipal elections, and providing legislative support and ensuring compliance with laws and regulations in cities across Texas. And whereas municipal clerks demonstrate exceptional dedication, professionalism, and integrity in their work, often going above and beyond to serve their communities and facilitate the effective governance of local governments. And whereas the Texas Municipal Clerks Association represents more than 1,100 municipal clerks who contribute significantly to the success and efficiency of local government throughout the state of Texas. And whereas Municipal Clerks Week provided opportunity to recognize and celebrate the invaluable work of municipal clerks, acknowledge their vital contributions to public service, and highlight the important role that they play in day-to-day operations of our cities. And whereas it is fitting that the city of Coppell take this honor and opportunity to thank our city secretary, Lauren Thoden, for her ongoing dedication, knowledge, and tireless service. Now therefore, I, Wes Mays, Mayor of the city of Coppell, do hereby proclaim the week of May 3rd through 9th, 2026 as Municipal Clerks Appreciation Week, and in witness thereof, I've set my hand and caused a seal of the city of Coppell to be affixed this 26th day of May, 2026. So thank you very much for your service. I must say that working with you very closely, it is hard to estimate how much you're having to do behind the scenes to help me, and I know the rest of the council must feel the same way. So thank you very much. Step.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, you guys are great. You guys are great. All right, everybody. Big smiles. 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to get a close of just you two here.
We're not in
1,
this
2,
one.
3. Thank you.
Again, thank you very much. Did you have a little something you would like to say? I think we were being photobombed behind us there.
No, never.
Well, Mayor, I would just like to say it has been my honor and my privilege to serve the citizens of this community. You, the council, you guys are wonderful. I appreciate you each and every day. Our city manager, our city management team, and honestly, the team here in the city, it has been a fabulous experience. I just hit 8 months here, and I look forward to many more years. So thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, item B is a proclamation designating May 17th through 23rd as National Public Works Week. I'd like to invite Mr. Garza and some of his compatriots to come forward.
I love it. It's good. Yeah.
Whereas Public Works employees design, construct, operate, and maintain infrastructure, facilities, and equipment that are of vital importance to the health, safety, welfare, and high quality of the life of citizens of Coppell. And whereas these infrastructure, facilities, and equipment could not be provided without the dedicated service, teamwork, and innovation of public work employees. And whereas it is in the public interest of the citizens, civic leaders, and business leaders to gain knowledge of and maintain an interest in public works. And whereas the year 2026 marks the 66th annual National Public Works Week sponsored by the American Public Works Association. Now therefore, I, Wes Mays, Mayor of the City of Coppell, do hereby proclaim the week of May 17th through 23rd as National Public Works Week. I encourage all citizens to join with representatives of the American Public Works Association and the City of Coppell in support of our public works employees and to recognize the substantial contributions they make while providing and protecting our health, safety, welfare, and quality of life. In witness thereof, I've set my hand and caused the seal of the City of Coppell to be affixed this 26th day of May, 2026. Thank you very much.
Great. Big thumbs up. Perfect. All right. You're good, Kevin. I can see you. All right.
Thanks, sir.
All right. And 3, 2, 1. And I'm going to get just a close up with the team here, slightly different angle. All right.
Get the headshot.
And 3, 2, 1. Thank you, everybody.
Now, whoa, we're not done yet. We're not done yet. And Mike, I noticed the camera was not focused on us on that last one, so just keep that. Did you have something you'd like to say?
Sure. Mayor, Council, thank you for recognizing National Public Works Week, and also thank you for your continued support of our Public Works team. These Public Works professionals, these are the ones that keep the city quietly running in the background, maintaining 400 lane miles of pavement, 250 miles of sidewalk, 200 miles of water and sewer, 41 signalized intersections, over 55 facilities and structures, over 250 vehicles and pieces of equipment. So these folks are the ones that come in and day out, overnight, unclog your stopped up toilets, do the things that most people don't want to do, and they do it on a consistent, regular basis to serve this community. So we appreciate everything that they do. We say it's a good day in Coppell in the Public Works Department when our phones aren't ringing. That means your toilets are flushing, you can shower, you can drive to your destination each day without too many red light stops. But we appreciate everything that our Public Works team does, and we thank Council and Mayor and Council for your recognition of National Public Works Week, and thanks to the citizens of Coppell. Thank you.
Councilmember Carroll.
Thank you, Mayor. Mr. Garza, you summed up sort of, I know what your whole team does, and I will just reiterate what a fabulous job it is. A lot of times when you look at cities and you think it's a lot of the quality of life amenities that make a city great and all that stuff, but it is the foundational part is what Public Works does, because without that is such a fundamental piece of a city. If you don't have that, you really don't have the city. And so I really do thank your whole team for what they do and the way you do it, the manner in which you do it. You are looking for solutions, sometimes to problems that are extremely complicated or don't have an easy answer. But the attitude that your team approaches all these problems with, I think, is second to none. And you are always looking to find the best solution for the resident and everything. So I just thank you and the team for just the fabulous job you do, and for making Coppell great, because we have a great foundation with Public Works. So thank you very much.
Councilmember Hinojosa Smith.
Thank you, Mayor. Well, you stole my words. But no, Mr. Garza, and to your whole team, thank you so much. You guys do a phenomenal job, and I was going to add, I mean, you listed everything, but you all do it with a great attitude, and that's what makes our city a great place to live. And we constantly receive tons of accolades for y'all coming out and again solving problems that citizens may not even know they have, or they're not really sure where to go, and they're able to call you, and you're happy to come out with a great attitude in a timely fashion and say, let me figure this out, let me help you, and if I don't know the answer, I'll definitely get one for you. So all that to say is truly appreciated. Thank you for all that you do.
Councilmember Nevels.
Thank you, Mayor. So to the entire team, just what a fantastic job that you guys do. I had the honor to speak at there was a title company in town that hosted several realtors, and they were kind of getting like just an update on Coppell. And I had the honor to be invited to speak about what's going on around the city. And I made a comment about the fact that you know when you enter into Coppell, because the roads are smooth, and you would not believe all the realtors are like because they know kind of that not all the communities around us have that amazing infrastructure. I mean, and roads alone, right? I think could separate us, but the other additional things. I'm so excited about the service center and the renovation that we're doing there and stuff, because it gives you guys such a great place to be able to do your work out of. So just all of that stuff just goes to say that we want to thank you for taking care of us. So we really appreciate all your hard work. Thank you guys so much.
Councilmember Prem Kumar.
Thank you, Mayor. I guess I left my notes open and Mr. Carroll spoke from it. They kind of covered everything I wanted to say. I'll close by saying thank you for doing a great job. The wonderful job that you do makes our life easy. We don't get complaints because you have already solved it. Thank you.
Thank you guys very much. We really do appreciate the service that you give the city of Coppell, so thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Mayor, just to add one more thing, this is Hedgie the Hedgehog. So Hedgie has an official name, Bob the Builder, the Hedgehog. This is Hedgie the Hedgehog.
So I take it this is the initial debut?
This is the debut of Hedgie the Hedgehog. So, for future reference, between all of our mascots that we have in PD and community experiences and fire department, there will be a mascot race one day. Yeah, not in this chamber though, because there are too many steps. But we're looking forward to it. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Don't you have to follow the will of the council, and if we want that.
Since we're still on number 6, we do have a request to revisit item A. So Councilmember Hinojosa Smith.
Thank you. Lauren, we didn't get a chance to give comments, and I just wanted to say that, thank you for all that you do. I know you've been here for 8 months, and it probably feels like forever. We're not easy, and you have done a phenomenal job of really just jumping in, solving problems, accommodating our requests, and serving each and every one of us with all our particular, specific, quirky needs. and have really taken the time to listen. And I just wanted to say thank you. You've been a phenomenal addition to our team, and we're excited to have you, and we look forward to so many more years with you, and we hope that we are, we will continue here to help you and continue to just make Coppell a home for you and your family. So welcome.
Again, Councilmember Prim Kumar.
Thank you, Mayor. Secretary Thornton, thank you for everything that you do. Specifically, the positive energy that you bring is fantastic. And we will try to listen more to our El Presidente City Manager, Mike. He's been telling us that in addition to everything that you do, you have to manage 8 cats, and herding us has become difficult, so we'll try to do better. Thank you.
Oh, that's not fair. You guys are great.
And there's only 7 cats, by the way.
What are you, sir? What are you? Are you a hedgehog?
I'm the hedgehog, yeah. Thank you. Item number 7 is our citizens' appearance, and persons wishing to speak must sign the register and list your address. Presentations by individuals shall be limited to 3 minutes each, during which time speakers must remain at the podium, face forward, and address only the mayor and city council. Persons signed up to speak will be called in the order that they signed up. In order to maintain an orderly and respectful meeting environment and to conduct the public meetings and business, speakers will adhere to the standards outlined in Ordinance 2025-1633. There will be no comments or deliberations from the City Council due to the Texas Open Meetings Act. We do have 3 people signed up to speak, and the first one on the list is Ms. Ann Dragon. Name and address, please.
Good evening. My name is Ann Dragon. I own the home at 626 Stratford Lane. It is directly across from 631 Stratford Lane, which is on your agenda this evening for demolition approval for the contractor. And I just wanted to share with all of you that I strongly support the city staff's recommendation for demolition. This is a biohazardous site at this point. I personally witnessed 3 adult armadillos coming out from underneath the foundation Friday at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, which is a time that we shouldn't be seeing those types of animals. And so I wanted to share that with you, since there's not going to be an opportunity during the agenda to support this. So I support the staff. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Our second speaker is John Ramsey. At least, I think it's Ramsey. And you can correct me if I'm wrong.
Hello, my name is Jason Ramey. So, and very bad handwriting. So, I am also here to support the demolition of 631 Stratford. I live across the street at 630. We've lived there for many, many years at this point. This has been an ongoing experience for more than 5 years. That home has been vacant. We've had plenty of problems. We've seen on multiple occasions random individuals walking onto the property, trespassing at all hours. We've had to call the police out at several occasions in the middle of the night. It's just not safe for our kids and the families that live on the streets. We've smelled gas coming from that property, had to call. It's been abandoned and represents a fire hazard, we believe, as well. Not to mention the number of times that we've had to have the city come out to mow the grass, just to do basic stuff. And maybe the most telling, we've seen the owner show up, rip the signs off the door, and do nothing about it for years. It's been a long time coming. We've trusted the process. We've trusted the council to help us. And we feel like 5 years is plenty of time to kind of figure out how to get this fixed and get this resolved. And so we are here to say that we need your support and really appreciate your consideration. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments tonight. Our third and last speaker is Rob Nickel.
Good evening, Robert Nickel. I live at 634 Stratford Lane, also across the street from the house in question tonight, 631 Stratford Lane. Actually next door neighbors to the Ramies, and then one door over from that with Miss Dragon. So we're all 3 kind of equally across the street and have witnessed kind of the ongoing debacle there with the house. I would say, just to add to the comments, Our biggest concerns as a family and as a neighborhood, and I'm also on the HOA for Stratford Manor. I should have mentioned that. One of the 3 HOA members. We've met about this for years. It's not only like a maintenance issue. It's not only a devaluing, I feel like, of our neighborhood issue, but it's also a safety issue. And we're seeing increased activity, not only from the rodents of the city of Coppell and all the animals. We've seen coyotes, we've seen armadillos, we've seen all number of animals coming in and out of the yard and around the house, but also, as has been mentioned, children, middle schoolers and maybe high schoolers, and not only during the day or coming by with a curiosity and also looking into the house, trying to get into the house. We've had to call out police for that reason. We've also seen people get dropped off by car there in the wee hours in the morning, 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m., because of doorbell cameras. And so it's a real problem. And this neighbor has consistently resisted any efforts to fix the problem and has lied repeatedly about the property to this council and to the court, which we've been to a hearing with them at the court previously as well, a couple years ago. And it's clear to us they're just stalling, and we're just tired of it. But I'm here to support the staff and the council on making a decision. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comments tonight. Moving on, item number 8 is our consent agenda. The consent agenda is routine in nature and is generally enacted in a single motion. These items have been previously approved through the budget or past council actions. Any item may be pulled and considered separately. Full descriptions are available on the screen. We are going to pull item number F, which is the property just spoken about. We will consider it after the consent agenda. So for your consideration tonight, council, it's items 8A through 8E. Any questions or comments on the consent agenda? Councilmember Nevels.
Thank you, Mayor. I move to approve consent agenda items A through E.
Seconded by Councilmember Hinojosa Smith. All in favor?
Walker, Hinojosa Smith, Carroll, Nevels, Prem Kumar, Matthew, none opposed, motion carries.
All right, thank you very much. Consent agenda item 8F, I'd like to ask Louis Rahil to come forward, and this is consider approval of a demolition contract with Garrett Demolition for a city-initiated demolition of a substandard residence structure at 631 Stratford Lane in accordance with the Building and Standards Commission order in the amount of $58,128 and authorizing the city manager to sign. I must note that the agenda item said $63,760. There was a revised demolition budget that came in at $58,128. Mr. Rahil.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Tonight, staff is bringing forward the 631 Stratford Lane case and requesting approval of demolition contract to carry out the Building and Standards Commission order for city-initiated demolition of the substandard residential structure. Before I walk through the timeline, I want to first provide the context of this court case. The 631 Stratford Lane court case began with a storm-related damage from the 2021 winter storm. Like many other homes in Coppell in the winter storm, this property experienced burst pipes. The difference is this: the home was never repaired. Over time, what began as a private property damage became a long-term code compliance case, neighborhood, and public safety issue. It's important to say clearly, the issue is not only impacting the property owner, it's also impacting the surrounding neighborhoods. In fact, staff has heard more from neighboring residents than from the homeowners themselves. The homeowners of this property did not respond to most of staff communication attempts until last week, which I will discuss later in this presentation. Tonight, I will briefly walk through the property background, the condition observed, the due process provided, and the Building Standards Commission's order and the action staff is requesting. To understand why this item before council tonight, it helps to first look at the property itself and how the issue began. The property at 631 Stratford Lane is a two-story approximately 5,800 square foot single-family home. The home was constructed in 2001, and the current owner purchased the property in 2003. During 2021 winter storm, the home sustained significant damage from the burst pipes. After the damage occurred, the first floor was largely gutted without the required permits. No repairs have taken place at the property since then. Because damage was never corrected, the property moved from a storm damage issue to long-term unsafe structure and code compliance issue. Once the storm damage remained unrepaired, the next question is how staff became aware of the full extent of the problem. After the home remained vacant and unrepaired for extended period of time, staff began receiving complaints from neighboring residents about the condition of the property. There are two reasons why we didn't know about the property before that time. From the street, the full extent of the interior damage was not visible. A person driving by could see some exterior concerns, but they could not see what was happening inside the structure. Second, the owner did not obtain the required permits for the work that had been done inside the home. Because no permits were pulled, the interior condition of the property did not come through the city normal permitting and inspection process. So this became a code compliance matter after neighboring residents brought concern to our city attention. Once those concerns were received, staff requested voluntary access to inspect the property. The owner promised us multiple times to meet us the property, but he never showed up. Because if voluntary access was not provided, city staff followed the proper legal process and obtained an administrative inspection warrant. When we did the inspection, the finding as you see on the screen. Staff observed gutted first floor, exposed electric wiring, open sewer lines, foundation concerns, rodent activity, broken windows, broken fence, an unsafe, unsanitary condition inside the property. Based on those findings, the structures were determined to be unsafe, unfit for human occupancy, and in need of formal enforcement action. This led staff into more measured due process path. This timeline highlights the major action and communication points in this case. The full code compliance report is almost 80 pages. So I will not walk through every notice, inspection note, photo, email, or phone call tonight. Instead, I want to focus on 6 important events that show how this case moved from a neighborhood complaint for tonight requested action. The city opened the case in February 2024 after receiving neighborhood complaints. Final notice of repair was issued in December 2024. No action was taken. Actually, no acknowledgement from the owner either. After voluntary access was not provided, we obtained a warrant to inspect the property, and we were able to do that in March 2025. The inspections of the finding I shared earlier on the screen before. After the inspection, the case proceeded to the Building and Standards Commission for 2 separate hearings. I will discuss those hearings in more details in the next 2 slides. The key point is this. The case did not move directly from a complaint to demolition. It followed a long process of notices, communications, legal steps, inspections, hearings, an opportunity to comply. So on October 2nd, 2025, the Building and Standards Commission held a public hearings and determined the structure was substandard. The owner did not appear at that hearing. However, the commission did not immediately order demolition. Instead, the commission gave the owner a clear path to repair the house. The order required gas abatement, structural engineer report, a building permit, and a completion of all required repairs by December 8, 2025. The owner did not comply with that order. No permit was obtained, no engineering report was submitted, and no repair was initiated. Because that repair opportunity was not acted on, the case returned to the board commission again. The repair deadline passed again without compliance. So the case returned to the Building Standard Commission on February 5th, 2026. At that hearing, the commission reviewed the continued lack of progress, determined the structures was remained substandard, unsafe, unfit for human occupancy. At that point, the commission issued an order requiring the owner, the lien holder, the mortgagee, to demolish and remove the structure by April 7, 2026. That deadline also passed. The staff have confirmed as of yesterday that there has still been no permit application, no approved repair plan, no structural engineer report, and no demolition activities taking place. The order also imposed civil penalties of $100 per day after the deadline until compliance is achieved. So again, the demolition order was not the first step. It followed a missed repair deadlines, continued non-compliance, and unsafe condition that remain unresolved. While the building standards and commission process was moving forward, the city also used the municipal court as another enforcement tool. The owner received 4 code enforcement citations, and the state filed 1 failure to appear case. The owner paid close to $3,000 to the court, and the court cases are now closed. However, Bayon court fines did not correct the unsafe conditions. From court standpoint, those cases are closed, but from a code compliance and public safety standpoint, the structure remains vacant, remains unrepaired, unsafe, and unfit for human occupancy. The municipal court process also reflects some challenges. Staff experienced throughout the case difficulty obtaining timely response and cooperation from the owner. Even the court had a hard time getting hold of the owner. The purpose of code compliance is not simply to issue citations or collect fines. The purpose is to obtain compliance and correct unsafe conditions. That has not occurred in this case. So, with the unsafe conditions still unresolved, staff is before council tonight with a requested action that I will share with you soon. Before I state the action requested, I want to update council on recent communication with the owner. Earlier this month, staff attempted to schedule a meeting with the homeowner and the city attorney to determine whether some type of agreement or resolution was possible. The owner initially stated that he will be out of town for that meeting, so he cannot attend. However, on May 21st, he came to our office about 5 o'clock in the afternoon, met with Mindy, I, and Corey Powell. During that meeting, the owner requested an extension and asked to remove this item off the agenda tonight. We explained to him that we could not do that and grant him an extension because this case has been active for longer than 2 years. And the owner has not complied with one city timeline or a building standard commission orders. We also explained that the owner has the right to address council directly, either in person during citizen appearance or by submitting written comments. The owner indicated he would not be able to attend. Staff also asked whether he could send a legal counsel. He later contacted staff to tell us he could not secure an attorney in time. Staff also attempted as of yesterday to coordinate a Zoom appearance, but the owner stated he could not attend the Zoom appearance either. At this point, staff is recommending the council to approve the demolition contract in the amount of $58,128 and authorize the city manager to sign it. This action would carry out the Building and Standards Commission order for demolition and resolve the public safety issue that has remained uncorrected for the last 5 years. If councils approve the demolition contract, the demolition cost will be assessed as a lien against the property. DCAD records confirm the land value is sufficient to recover the full amount upon a future sale or transfer. That concludes staff presentation, and I'm happy to answer any of your questions.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Councilmember Nevels.
Can I ask a question of our city attorney?
Do we need to go into
course.
executive session for
I am
this?
not, no,
Okay.
no, not at all. I just wanted to confirm the purpose of the question, or what's being asked of the council tonight. It's already gone through the Building Standards Commission process, right? So we're not being asked for the demolition, we are just being asked to fund the contract, is that correct?
Yes, this is not an appeal of the order of the Board of Building Standards Commission. You're simply being asked to do nothing but approve the contract or approve funding for the contract. There has been no appeal of the board's order, and even if there were, it would not be to this board.
I just wanted to make sure that I and the entire council understood the charge that is being asked of us today, so thank you very much.
Simply asking to fund something.
Thank you very much.
Councilmember Matthew.
Thank you, Mayor. Question for you. Thank you for the presentation.
Thank you.
It's a lot of work being done by the staff, many years, lot of hours staff put aside to take care of one issue. I do have a question, two questions. Number one is in your memo on page 3 to 4, it says the owner paid the outstanding court window fine. How much was that?
Altogether is about $2,900. $2,900, $21 paid to court.
And what is that? What?
We fined him for different code compliance issues. The city had, on multiple occasions, had to get an abatement warrant to remove a broken fence in the back, another one to cut the grass on multiple occasions. We also hired a person to do pest control in the property because we could not get any voluntary compliance from the homeowner. So every time he failed to do something, we cited him and we proceeded to abate the problem.
So the city went and cut the grass?
We got a court order to abate the problem, yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. My second question is, you mentioned you had a meeting with the owner on May 21st.
Correct, sir.
And he requested an extension for the demolition, right?
What he really requested is to pull the item off the council agenda. But at that point, when he came to us, the agenda was already published.
Okay, did he offer any resolution or settlement that he would continue to work? This is the first time it's coming before the city council for the demolition. So I'm asking, did they offer any settlement or any type of willingness to fix any of the issue?
So we're not coming here for demolition tonight. We're only asking for the funding of the contract. It came twice to the board and commission, Senate Substance Commission, on two multiple occasions, October and February. So on there, we talked about demolition. Tonight, we're only talking about the funding. He did not provide us any evidence that's going to fix it any different than the promises he made us 4 years ago. So it was the exact same promise. He said, I have the money from the insurance company, haven't cashed the check, I sued them, I don't have the money to fix it, and I might take a loan. And I think he sent the same note to you guys, what he told us. But it's the same thing we've heard from him for the last 2.5 years.
One, excuse me, final question. You're asking for the city to spend $58,000 for the demolition and hoping that we'll recover that money when we put the lien on the property, and when the owner sells that property, we will collect that money, correct?
Yes, sir.
And do you know, are you aware of any additional liens on the property that would precede us or ranked before us?
I'm not in a situation today where I could rank those liens. I'm only here to ask for the $58,000 and we would place a lien. Which one comes before the other? I cannot confirm which one comes before the
Thank
other.
you.
Councilmember Hinojosa Smith.
Thank you, Mayor. Question, I don't know, Louis, it's for you or City Attorney,
I would
maybe
rather
for
you
either
ask
one.
him.
But just to follow up on understanding next steps and timing. So we're being asked to approve the $58,000, so many $100 to for the demolition. What happens next? What's the timing on that if this were to proceed?
It's a good question. It's my understanding that staff will continue to work with the homeowner but would, and I think something's been proposed, impose a series of I'm just going to call them drop-dead deadlines, deadlines within which a permit must be applied for, deadlines within which work must commence, and a deadline within which work must be completed. Absent authorization to spend the money from the council, we have absolutely no means of compelling him to live up to that kind of an agreement. It is my understanding, and Louis, you need to correct me if I'm wrong, but staff will continue to work with the homeowner. But now, if the homeowner continues to make promises and not fulfill them, then we will proceed with demolition of the structure. We will file a lien. We're required by law to do that. It is my understanding, and I can't verify this because I haven't actually seen it with my own eyes, but it is my understanding that there is, in fact, an outstanding lien owned by the city of Dallas on the property. My partner has reached out to Dallas, and Dallas has no clue why they have a lien or what it's for. I can't tell you that our lien would prime the Dallas lien or Dallas's would prime ours. My guess is going to be that theirs was first filed, so theirs would probably take priority. However, theirs is $100,000, ours would be $58,000, give or take. The property is worth more than $150,000, and if it's sold, then Dallas would take proceeds first from the proceeds of sale. We would take second, assuming that their lien primes ours. The balance would be given over to the property owner. We wouldn't simply file the lien and then wait for the property to sell, mind you. We also would have the authority with council approval down the road to file our own lawsuit to foreclose that lien and move that process along and recover our funds. Okay, in answer to your question, that's probably what you wanted to know. But
No, I appreciate that because that was helpful too. But I want to understand timing, right? Because we can approve this, and it's been 5 years, and I consider public safety and the safety of our neighbors to be an utmost priority. And it's hazardous conditions and what I'm seeing, and I know that staff has spent numerous hours on this home. So I'd love to know also what's next.
Councilmember Hinojosa Smith, may I propose a question to Louis?
We can do that.
Ask him.
Louis, tell me the timing and
is-
process for next steps.
So, again, staff recommends the approval of demolition contract tonight. Approval allow us to get the contract signed and be ready to carry out the BSC order. However, demolition would not occur immediately. We still need time for any personal property to be removed from the property. So we need to give them 30 days to remove any personal belonging from the property. We also need time to contact the utilities to get them disconnected, if it's the gas, electricity, or any other utilities and disconnected. And we need to prepare the site. So we need about 30 days to get that done. If the owner is able to come into compliance before the execution date, staff can work with him through a signed agreement requiring clear deliverables and completion of the project. Because we don't want him to pull a permit and prolong the project for another 5 years. If he's able to work with us with signed agreements requiring clear deliverable and completion of the project, we would work with him. But without the signed agreement and real compliance steps, staff recommends we cannot hold him accountable. So we need about 30 days.
Okay. Councilmember Walker, or Mayor Pro Tem Walker, I'm sorry.
Thanks, Mayor. I think this is probably for
I love you, man.
our city attorney. You had mentioned that there's not yet been an appeal of the BSC order. Has that appellate deadline passed?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so it's a final order.
It is final and non-appealable and
Okay.
executable, hence the reason why we're here tonight.
Yes, okay, thank you, that's what I wanted to know.
Councilmember Prem Kumar.
Thank you, Mayor. Attorney Bowman, I'm sorry.
I think you should stand.
I think I'm just going to stay here.
This might be my only question for you. I think I heard you say the Dallas County lien is about $100,000?
That's what I understand. I could be wrong, but that's what I understand.
And I believe the land value is approximately $250,000, or do you happen to know the exact number, sir?
I don't know offhand what that is.
Yeah, we've got records that will indicate what Dallas, what the appraisal district says that it is.
I looked it up today and it was 250,000 even.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's probably a rather conservative estimate from the appraisal district, too, by the way.
Quick question for either one of you. Do we know if there is a mortgage lien from a bank or any other lender?
I think the title is clear except for the Dallas lien.
Correct. The title's clear,
Okay.
but he has liens on it.
A question for the HOA. I had sent an email rather late today around 2 p.m. Is there an HOA? I can ask the question? Okay. All right. All right. So I'll just make a comment. I'm very empathetic to what the neighbors are going through, and I think they have suffered a lot. I'm inclined to definitely support this decision, and I think the staff has gone above and beyond in addressing the situation. So I have nothing but positive things to say to the staff. The one concern that I have is, the property value is about $250,000. There's going to be some cost in going after and forcing the owner to sell it, and then we have to go through, Dallas County taking their piece. And I want to make sure that, as being the fiduciary for the taxpayers, that we do recover that 58,000 plus and any other dues that the city has from the homeowner.
Yeah, if we go forward with foreclosure, I mean, it's first things first, we've got to get the demolition in place. Once demolition is done, we file the lien. The next step would be if the property doesn't sell all by itself or the owner doesn't sell it, if we chose to foreclose that lien, we would come back to council seeking permission. At that point in time, you'd have the ability to say, yes, move forward, would then file the lawsuit and then proceed with judicial foreclosure and an order of sale as soon as we could. But you'd get another notice. We'd come back to council and ask.
And will there be a cost for that foreclosure?
Yeah, there would. There would be court costs. Those court costs would be factored into the foreclosure sale that we would recover through that process.
Okay. So what I'm hearing is that there's a good chance that we will recover all the money that we have put in. I don't know if you can give me, if it's 100% certainty that we will recover the cost that we put in.
Oh, there's never 100% certainty. I mean, we're dealing with people and human beings. There is a substantial likelihood of full recovery.
Okay.
My guess is going to be that there might be a few dollars here and there that get crumbs that get dropped off on the side, but there is a substantial likelihood of full recovery, yes.
And Mr. Berman and Louis, I think from what I've heard, if we approve this process today, there is still an option where you will look at that property owner's actions and decide if you really going to move forward with the demolition, correct?
The purpose of everything we've done from day one till today is to correct unsafe condition on the property.
Yeah.
The owner did not comply with anything he ever told us, but however he decided to comply, we are more than happy to work with him as long as he signs an agreement with us with some good milestones that guarantee to the neighbors that the property will be fixed within 90 days or less.
Yeah.
So we're willing to work with him if he's willing to work with us.
So thank you for that. Mayor, given what I'm hearing and given that the homeowner has sent us an email telling us that he's ready to spend $325,000, now that may not be sufficient to fix all of the problems. So I would like to propose that we defer this decision to the next city council meeting. And again, I want the neighbors to understand that I'm completely in support of demolition. However, this is the first time this decision is coming to us, and I want to be fair and give equal opportunity to both sides. Yes, I'm making a motion, sir, that we move making a decision on demolition, paying for the demolition to the next city council meeting.
So to rephrase, you're moving to postpone this item to a fixed date of June 9th?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Do I have a second? Seeing one, the motion fails. Councilmember Nevels, you had your hand up.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to make a motion. I'd like to move that we approve consent agenda item 8F with the demolition contract with Garrett Demolition for a city-initiated demolition of a substandard residential structure at 631 Stratford Lane in accordance with the Building and Standards Commission order in the amount of $58,128 and authorize the city manager to sign.
Thank you very much. Do I have a second by Councilmember Carroll? Is there any other discussion? Councilmember Walker.
Thank you, Mayor. That's Mayor Pro Tem to you, pal.
God.
It's an ongoing joke. So I guess I see our fiduciary duty a little bit different. You know, this is a larger issue. As our housing stock ages in town, we're seeing an increase in compliance issues. And I really think that we owe it to all of our homeowners, after 5 years of neglect and after risk to public safety and public health, environments, and all the other issues that these folks have had to live with for 5 years, I think we actually owe them a fiduciary duty to demolish this house and to approve that. I also think that we owe every other homeowner in town a fiduciary duty to understand that if this was happening across from their home, that we would take the same position. Because if it's not understood that after 5 years of neglect and just, you know, putrid conditions, that we're going to do anything about it, then I think we can expect to see a whole lot more of this. And that really concerns me greatly. You know, since I've been involved in volunteering in any position at all in the city, the one thing about our compliance group is they are almost too forgiving. They're very collaborative. They will do anything to work with a homeowner to try to resolve a problem without going to this step. So when I see our compliance folks stepping up and saying this is where we're at, it really impresses me because I understand this is not what they wanted. All they wanted was this guy to show up and do something about the home that he owns. And if it's of such little importance to him that he's willing to pay $2,900 in court costs, but he's not willing to show up to the court. He's willing to do that, but he's not willing to respond to any of our communications, and yet we're supposed to respect an email from him requesting for an extension again. I think this has gone way beyond, you know, giving him any more deference or tolerance. I think we have to give some deference and some tolerance to the people that have had to live with this for 5 years. And I think we have to send a message across town that we're not going to tolerate this kind of condition or this kind of neglect by any homeowner in this community for a period of 5 years, particularly when it has such a negative, deteriorative effect on the neighborhood and the quality of life of everybody living around him. So I'm totally in favor of approving this contract. You know, I think it's willing from the standpoint of the larger holistic view of our community and the quality of our lives and the quality of our homes and what we expect of each other as neighbors. I think it's worth investing $58,000 and demolishing this house to make the point that we're not going to tolerate this kind of neglect. And we're not going to tolerate this kind of abuse of our neighbors. So that's where I stand on it.
Thank you very much, Mayor Pro Tem. Councilmember Nevels.
Thank you, Mayor. I got to say, Jim, I think you said that, I'm sorry, Mayor Pro Tem. I apologize, I don't want to get yelled at. Mayor Pro Tem, I think said that incredibly well. There's nothing about this that I like. I hate that there is a property owner that went through this storm and the damage. I absolutely hate that. What I will say that, you know, just speaking from a personal standpoint, I had a commercial property that was damaged in the exact same storm. And I had to go through the hardships of dealing with the insurance company and trying to get my business to run at the same time and get repairs done. And it was awful, but we did it. And, I had the same drive to make sure that my commercial property was up to the standards that, meet city code and are honestly up to the level that we expect here in Coppell. So it's not like I don't have empathy for the homeowner. I understand what they've gone through. And I absolutely hate that they've gone through that. But the fact that we're here over 5 years later, right, with 3 of those years, it wasn't even on the city's radar, and they had an opportunity to fix it at that time. I mean, watching testimony that they said that they didn't even get their first contractor bid until 18 months later. Well, I have empathy for that, right? That's absolutely terrible, but there's still plenty of time to get this repaired. I will say, I appreciate the surrounding property owners that have shown up time and time and time again to voice their concerns about the integrity of their neighborhood. Our community is built around these neighborhoods, and I appreciate you guys continuing to show up and support your neighborhood. I hate that it's come to this, but I mean, for all the reasons why Mayor Pro Tem stated, we have to move forward with this. It's not the Coppell way. It's not the standards that we have. We want to make sure that we have strong communities, safe communities, and this just does not match with that. So unfortunately, I have to support this, that we've gotten to this point, but I will be supporting it.
Thank you very much. We've got Councilmember Matthew, then Carol, then Prim Kumar. So Councilmember Matthew.
Thank you, Mayor. I want to give credits to our staff for following up for this many years. They spent a lot of hours on this. I also want to thank the neighbors. I know it's horrible living next to a house deteriorated the way it is. I would like to make an amendment to the motion proposed here, giving an opportunity for the owner to fix everything staff asked in next 30 days. And if that doesn't follow through, I'm also in favor of demolishing this house, but I want to give them an order from the council. You have 30 more days to fix this. So that would be my amendment to this motion on the floor.
I need to ask for a session with our legal counsel, please.
Mayor, to be clear,
I'm sorry. Oh. Where?
to be clear, Mayor, you're asking for the city council to move into a closed executive session regarding this agenda item as authorized by section 551.0712
Yes,
of
ma'am,
the
that
Texas
one.
Government Code for the purpose of seeking confidential legal advice from your city attorney.
And the time is now 8:28 PM. I was going to do exactly what you did.
The time is 8:36. We have recessed from executive session with consultation with the city attorney. Councilmember Matthew, I believe you had a motion that you were making.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. I made the motion on the floor. I have a question for our city attorney. As a city council member, do we have the authority to extend the demolition for the next 30 days?
To require staff to refrain, the answer to the question technically is no, you don't. Building Standards Commission has the authority to render its orders. It's already done that. The order is final and non-appealable. The ask of the council tonight and the agenda item that you're addressing this evening is simply to fund the demolition of the structure. It's beyond the scope of not just the agenda, but I think council authority to be issuing operational mandates to staff. That makes sense?
Thank you very much. Therefore, I'm going to withdraw my motion from the floor.
All right, thank you very much. I lost track of who was speaking. We had Councilmember Carol Prim Kumar and Hinojosa Smith. So Councilmember Carroll.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm not as eloquent as some of my peers up here, but I will say that in any case where there was public safety endangered, whether it be from a storm damage or from, utility explosion, any number of things, we would not think twice about funding $58,000 to bring things into a manner of being safe. And furthermore, the fact that this is not under the purview of council at all anyway, it is under the purview of another organization that has already entered a final order. I think it is certainly appropriate that we move forward with this with funding this contract as written and proposed by staff. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Councilmember Prem Kumar.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to address the neighbors one more time. I hope you heard me say the first time that I'm in support of finding a permanent solution to neighbors. I mean, for me, that was the first and foremost, your safety and comfort. And, you know, the diversity of the city council is that we look at things from multiple sides. And so that was the reason why I wanted to see if we can wait 2 more weeks. But I'm going to be supporting this and supporting this motion to demolish. And hopefully you understand where I was coming from. Thank you.
Councilmember Hinojosa Smith.
Thank you, Mayor. I'll keep it brief. And I think Mayor Pro Tem Walker said it eloquently, and that is that our staff does a phenomenal job of giving more than is needed or expected in any way, shape, or form, and tries to work with our neighbors in giving time for compliance. And so if we're at this point and this juncture, then I feel confident, more than confident, that our staff has done everything they could in this situation. So again, safety is of utmost importance. Thank you to the neighbors for coming and sharing this information with us. Thank you, staff, for your time, and I too will be supporting this.
All right. Thank you very much. Seeing no other discussion, we do have a motion and a second to approve item F in the amount of $58,128. All in favor?
Walker, Hinojosa Smith, Carroll, Nevels, Prem Kumar, Matthew, none opposed, motion carries.
Thank you very much. All right, item number 9 is consider award of the City of Coppell request for proposal number 220 and approve a contract with InnoCity Partners LLC for the Smart Cities Master Plan in the amount of $115,000 as provided for in the general fund budget, and authorizing the city manager to sign any necessary documents. Mr. Luttrell. We have a traffic problem.
Normally in Coppell, we don't have traffic problems.
I've got a tech. There's traffic. Just read item number 9 into the record, and you're up.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. This award is an RFP that was released for a smart city master plan to kind of help with our roadmap of that. You've seen smart city presentations here recently and over the last several years. So this RFP was released to multiple vendors for assistance and guidance developing this smart city roadmap and plan to move forward with a more strategic approach, utilizing our Vision 2040 pillars and plan to kind of get that going. They will come into an assessment and inventory of our current smart city items and places or things that we're doing, as well as meet with internal staff, the Smart City Board, and help develop that framework and kind of a roadmap forward. So I did not have a presentation for this, but.
Thank you very much. Council, do you have any questions for Mr. Luttrell? Councilmember Nevels.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you for the brief discussion there. Almost a presentation, but it's all good. I just wanted to say that I really appreciated, I feel like the presentation that we saw from the Smart City Board had more tangible items to them versus kind of being more amorphous or like less tangible, if you will. I'll just say that. I really appreciate that because I think that what I would love to see for the smart cities and hopefully through this master plan, we'll see some things come out where there are like tangible short-term things that we can do to take that smart city approach, but also kind of folding into a long-term strategy with sustainability in mind on that. So striking that balance, I think, is incredibly important to me because the first couple years I was on council, it was very I don't know, very abstract, if you will. So while we need to have that vision going forward, I would love to see that rise out of that. So I look forward to this process. I hopefully that we'll be able to maybe there's some council input if they go that. But I just wanted to just share that, and I look forward to seeing that master plan take shape.
I appreciate it.
Councilmember Matthew.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you for the memo here. What is it? The $115,000 that we are approving. The Smart City Board made a presentation and they itemized 3 things they want to get it done.
Mm-hmm.
Are we taking care of any of those things with this money?
Not with this money, no. This is broken up into 3 phases, so 115 flat contract, not to exceed. So be 32.5 for the first 2 phases and 50,000 on the deliverable of it. That would be, I guess, up to council's discretion if you wanted to go forward with the items that were submitted as part of the Smart City presentation. If you wanted to move forward with those, that would be council's decision if you wanted to spend money on some of those things that were listed in there.
Okay, thank you.
I was expecting to see a hand go up from the former chairman of the Smart Cities Board, Councilmember Prem Kumar. No. Mayor Pro Tem takes precedence. I'm sorry.
Thanks, Mayor. Appreciate it. So, Mr. Luttrell, so I guess the reason I actually asked for this to be deferred to this meeting,
Okay.
and the reason I did is because I'm having a difficult time understanding the scope of what we're asking of these citizen volunteers that are on the Smart City Board. And to me, this consulting contract kind of underscores there's a certain ambiguity there. We just recently saw a project that you proposed. I don't even know I can talk about it. Was that an executive session? And it was brilliant. And
Thank you.
I thought it was fantastic. I think the Smart City Board has made a couple of concrete proposals that we could evaluate. We could put a budget number on. But, when I look at this, and I will tell you that I come to this with a certain jaded eye with respect to consultant contracts to begin with, because I've seen thousands of them, retained experts, financial advisors, you name it. And this was one of the ones that is one of the most generic and I think largely ambiguous proposals I've ever seen. You could apply it to anything. And they even say regional, local, you hire us and we'll tell you what we're going to do for you. And I'm not sure this is the best use of our funds at this point. The Smart City Board has made a couple of solid recommendations about the twinning. Was it the twinning of the data?
Digital twin, yes.
Yeah, the digital twin. We keep kind of resuscitating this issue about autonomous vehicles. And in this proposal, and in the staff memo, it mentions individual pilot initiative in mobility. I presume that is heralding back to the autonomous vehicle thing. The irony there, in my eyes, is that when the Smart City Board first threw out the autonomous vehicle thing, it was a novel concept. It was in, kind of a beta phase at Tesla and that sort of thing. Now we've got Waymos in Dallas. We've got robo-taxis rolling out. The private market has already filled the need. And I do support the Lyft program that we have to get employees from the different transportation hubs to employers here in town as a service to our employers. And I think Waymo and robo-taxi could also be enlisted in kind of a similar way to get, more vulnerable populations, elderly, to the grocery store, to the pharmacy, to places they would like to go so that they have some autonomy and retain some independence. I just don't think we need to be looking into having our own fleet of autonomous vehicles. So if it were up to me, I would go ahead and acknowledge that we need to kill that idea. But that's just me. I'm just one of 7 voices, and the mayor's included, and all the staff and everybody else. So, but I would rather have a meeting with the Smart City Board and have them come to us and say, these are the 2 or 3 things that we really see having value to the city long-term that we can do. Here are some companies that do those things that we could look at soliciting for bids. And have something a little bit more concrete, because we're gonna end up with a master plan that's gonna be a whole lot of consultant speak. We're gonna pay 6 figures to get. And it's probably not going to give us anything more concrete than what we have right now, is my guess. And I could be wrong, but I just feel like we're hiring a consultant to fill in the blanks for a city board that maybe we're not collaborating with closely enough and working with closely enough to get the benefit of their expertise and their experience on something a little bit more concrete. And working with them toward that end, working with you and your staff. I mean, you're clearly exceedingly capable, as we've seen in the recent meeting I can't talk about. I think makes a lot more sense before we pull the trigger on a 6-figure consultant contract. So that's, I greatly appreciate the opportunity, Mr. Land, and council, to kind of say my piece on that.
If I may, that's the ambiguity is kind of why we wanted to present this and bring it together. When Councilmember Ramesh was on Smart City Board, they each kind of took a pillar of that plan and attacked one each year. We completed that, and this was the first year where we brought something forward. So we're trying to look forward ahead into the future of Vision 2040, not do those today projects that staff may already be working on. So there's this fine line of trying to balance that of how do we look forward and plan ahead. It may not be that we're presenting our own fleet of autonomous vehicles, but are we presenting or preparing our roads? Are we preparing policies in place for when the Waymo dies on a train tracks? Can the police or a tow truck come pull it off? Do we have those kind of procedures and policies in place, right? So these are the types of things that we're looking to get forward in that roadmap, and kind of a strategic plan is to kind of help guide the SMART board, who is a group of volunteers that have day jobs that may not be able to spend this amount of time, and it's not their expertise, right? I mean, I don't know how many, Ramesh is a technology person, but he's probably never done a smart city roadmap or plan, right? So this vendor that we ended up selecting has done Frisco, McKinney, Dallas County, Smart City Lab in Dallas, Arlington, Virginia, Harris County, you name it. So they've definitely got the leg up there on doing this in the past and for other cities. So,
Councilmember from Kumar.
Thank you, Mayor. I was going to make some general comments about my colleague here, Kevin Neville, saying the previous presentations were dry and abstract, but I won't. He's right. He was right. At that time, the remit of the board was different, and thankfully, you changed, and the way the board is functioning now is actually more efficient, I believe. So I'm willing to admit that we didn't do a good job. So always live and learn, right? Moving on to the comment that my wonderful colleague, Mayor Pro Tem Jim Walker made. Mr. Walker, I mean, I would like to propose that technology and the changes in technology is kind of the fastest, rapidly changing scenario these days. And with artificial intelligence, things are changing a lot. To expect our volunteer Smart City Board to have all the answers, while they may have it, that's not their full-time job. Right. And in my question and answer that I had with the staff, you gave me a wonderful example where the park board reached out to an expert to get ideas about the master plan. And I think that's what you're doing here, going to actual experts who have had the experience of implementing this in many other cities that are in a similar environment. And I think being on that ahead of the curve now is more important than to wait 6 months or a year. So I commend you for having that plan, and I'm going to completely support this, and I hope the majority of the council will be able to support it. Thank you.
Councilmember Hinojosa Smith.
Thank you, Mayor. So same, I think I'll just echo Councilmember Prima Kumar. I just call you Ramesh, right? So, but I see where you're coming from, Mayor Pro Tem Walker. I think all your points are well taken. I think as I look at this, a couple of things that you mentioned and are important for us to consider is that this is really to bring the bigger picture, and then we have the board and our volunteers to work on some of the more specifics like we do with Park Board and some of our other boards, like Board Board. A lot of our boards follow our Vision 2030 and Vision 2040 or our master plan, so there's something for them to work towards. I don't think it's fair to put on them the obligation to identify all the gaps that we may have from a smart city standpoint. And just like Ramesh, I consider myself to be also pretty techie, but I only know what I know in my space. And so I actually appreciate the fact of being forward thinking and looking at this from a bigger standpoint. And I mean, we've had consultants come in for many different things that we do, our park system or our streets or other areas of our community that have created, again, that foundation for us to work towards. So I think this is a really, no pun intended, I think it's a smart move for our smart cities to have a master plan and something to work towards, and just to give some guidelines and framework for our board that I think has also struggled with what exactly are we working on and where do we add value. So I appreciate this, and I'd like to see this move forward. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Councilmember Prem Kumar.
Thank you, Mayor. If there's no further discussion, I'd like to make the motion to close item number 9 and approve it as stated.
Thank you very much. Do I have a second? Second by Hinojosa Smith. All in favor?
Hinojosa Smith, Carol, Nevels, Prem Kumar. Opposed? Walker, Matthew. Motion carries.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Item number 10, this is consider a review of Lynn Jenkins' appointment to the Smart City Board pursuant to Section 211.2 of the Code of Ordinances. Ms. Thoden. I was trying to talk slowly so you had time to get down there.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor and Council. Lauren Thoden, City Secretary, here to discuss Ms. Jenkins. Her attendance, she has not been in attendance at the Smart City Board in a year at this point. We have made numerous attempts to reach out to Ms. Jenkins. Even before I posted this meeting notice to inform her that I would be constrained to bring this item before council, I have not heard back anything from her on that. The board secretary has not heard back anything from her despite the numerous attempts at communication. My phone call went unanswered and no voicemail opportunity. So at this point, we are presenting you with this information, and pursuant to the code here, the direction is yours to provide to city staff. We do have the boards and commissions process upcoming, and so just to keep that in mind, that this position could then potentially be open for that process.
Thank you very much. Councilmember Nevels.
Thank you, Mayor. Have we had an alternate subbing in her place since she's been?
She is an alternate.
I'm sorry, I missed that then. Okay, all right, excellent, thank you.
Has she missed any other questions? Councilmember Walker, or Mayor Pro Tem Walker. Sorry.
Thank you, Mayor.
I told you, you're going to have to give me 6 months.
It's all right, it's all good, it's all good. I'm going to follow up on what Councilmember Nevels asked. So she was the alternate, so do we have anyone to take her place until the nominations are, for that board are approved?
We do not, but we do not otherwise have an attendance issue on the board either. And so our regular members and our alternate members, our other alternate members are in attendance.
Okay, so she is still an alternate?
Yes, sir.
Ah, thank you, I didn't pick up on that either.
And just to be clear, she's missed more than 25% of the regularly scheduled meetings.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Councilmember Prem Kumar.
Mayor, I'd like to close item number 10 and approve as stated.
So we, Councilmember Prem Kumar, we need a direction on the motion.
All right, thank you, Mayor. I'd like to recommend that Ms. Liz Jenkins
Move to approve.
move to approve that Lynn Jenkins be removed from Smart City Board.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Seconded by Councilmember Nevels. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Walker, Hinojosa Smith, Carroll, Nevels, Prem Kumar, Matthew, none opposed. Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Item number 11 is the city manager reports with project updates, future agendas, and direction from work session. Mr. Land, welcome back.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. And I feel much better. Thank you. Just some updates. The first is the Bullock and Howell. The contractor has completed the pour on Howell Drive and is preparing the subgrade for Bullock. Y'all received an email tonight. My staff will take a look at that. They just received it tonight as well, and addressing some issues with the folks down there. The Royal Lane reconstruction, the contractor has begun utility installations at the service center. Some of you had an opportunity to tour when we had Public Works Week luncheon over there. The contractor's working on punch list items, and so we're talking about move-in around June the 1st, or the first part of June. The Justice Center, if you've noticed, the construction, the masonry is starting to go up. In Fire Station 3, you notice it's gone. The living quarters are gone. The demolition of the Fire Station 3 is complete, and the contractor will begin the slab preparation this week. Mayor, that concludes my report.
Thank you very much. That building disappeared very quickly.
It did.
Item number 12 are mayor and council reports on recent and upcoming events. I want to thank everyone for coming out to the Fun, Food, and Grooves on May 15th. It was a tremendous success, and a great time was had by all in Old Town Coppell. I think this just goes to show that we do have an attraction down there, and we are working very hard to get the foot traffic there. Second item is a hearty congratulations to Ainsley Bramer. She's a Coppell High School senior who won a gold medal in the shot put at the UIL Track and Field State Championships on May 16th. We do plan to have her be at a council meeting so we can see more gold here. We're hoping to have her here on June 9th. However, she is a graduating senior, so we will play by her schedule. Volunteer appreciation. We're excited to welcome our volunteers to join us on June 4th at 6 p.m. at the Old Town Pavilion for an appreciation event. This is a week from Thursday night. We're excited to celebrate our volunteers and their service to our community. I have nothing else on mayor and council reports. Item 13 are public service announcements concerning items of community interest with no council action or deliberation permitted. Council, do we have any public service announcements? Seeing none, there was no action necessary from the executive session, so therefore there being no further business before this council, we are adjourned at 9:02 p.m.